Heart attacks often start quietly, especially in older adults. They whisper rather than shout. The feeling is usually pressure rather than sharp, intense pain. Deep fatigue often appears instead of a sudden collapse. And that small moment of hesitation, the pause before taking action, is frequently where the greatest danger truly begins. Picture the most important decision of your life happening when you are completely alone at home. No one nearby to help, no one to reassure you, and no extra time to think it through. For millions of people each year, that is exactly what a heart attack turns into. I'm Doctor, and for more than 25 years, I've dedicated my research to cardiovascular health with a special focus on older adults. Time after time, I've witnessed how just a few minutes of hesitation can change everything in a heartbeat. The simple truth is that what most people know about heart attacks is incomplete. Movies and television usually portray them as sudden, dramatic events with crushing chest pain and people collapsing. But for many, especially seniors, the reality is far more subtle and deceptive. Heart attacks usually involve a blood clot forming directly on a ruptured plaque. Picture a sudden dam blocking a river, completely stopping the flow in that section. Irreversible damage to the heart muscle can begin in as little as 20 minutes without any intervention. The American Heart Association stresses repeatedly that fast action, ideally within the first hour of symptoms, greatly reduces heart muscle loss and improves overall survival rates. Many people don't realize that even short-lived or intermittent symptoms, like pressure that eases for a while or chest discomfort that comes and goes, may mean a clot is forming or expanding. Waiting to see if it goes away is not safe. It's risky and can lead to much worse results. The clot can grow in stages, so symptoms might come and go, but the underlying blockage is still progressing. Intermittent symptoms often indicate an unstable situation that can suddenly worsen without warning. As the oxygen shortage continues, electrical disturbances can develop, causing arrhythmias, irregular heartbeats that can become life-threatening without rapid help. Think of your heart's rhythm as a steady, dependable beat in your favorite music. When it turns chaotic, the entire system begins to fail. Evidence shows that older adults who contact emergency services immediately have a much lower risk of dangerous arrhythmias, often substantially lower than those who wait, based on data from institutions like the Mayo Clinic. This is the point where so many people make a critical mistake. They delay to see if the symptoms pass, believing a short wait won't matter. But in these emergencies, every single minute counts because damage builds up quickly and arrhythmias can appear with little warning. If you've ever had unusual chest tightness, unexplained profound fatigue, or sudden shortness of breath, even if it disappeared quickly, please type "alert" in the comments right now. It tells me you're paying close attention to the important signals your body may send in the future. Let me share a couple of real examples to illustrate this clearly. First, there's Robert, 68, a retired man who was generally in good health and lived alone most of the time. One ordinary morning, he noticed mild chest tightness and a sudden wave of fatigue that came out of nowhere. He sat down with his coffee, thinking, maybe it's just indigestion from last night's dinner. After hesitating for a while, he finally called 911. He later told me, I really thought I was overreacting. I didn't want to bother anyone or cause a fuss. Fortunately, once help was on the way, we followed what I call the HEART protocol: quick recognition of the signs, an immediate emergency call, chewing aspirin if appropriate, and proper positioning to reduce strain on the heart. Paramedics arrived in about 20 minutes, checked his rhythm right there, and he reached the catheterization lab within the hour. The blockage was treated successfully, and he went home after just 3 days. His blood pressure dropped dramatically from 150/94 to 122/78. He felt much lighter, calmer, and deeply grateful that he had acted fast. That one decision, made without further delay, literally saved Robert's life. Today, Robert walks daily, enjoys time with his grandchildren, and checks his phone is charged every evening as a simple habit. Robert now makes it a point to tell his friends and family never to wait when something feels off. Then, if it's safe for you, take aspirin. Chew a standard 325 milligram aspirin tablet while you wait for help, unless you are allergic to aspirin, have bleeding problems, or your doctor has told you not to take it. Chewing helps it absorb faster. Research shows this can help limit clot growth and offer extra protection in those early minutes. Keep a small supply of aspirin in convenient places, like your nightstand, kitchen counter, or even in a pocket if you're often alone. Don't store it deep in a cabinet where panic might slow you down. The faster the aspirin gets into your system, the better chance it has to slow the clot from getting larger. After that, rest in position properly. Sit or lie down right away, with your upper body slightly elevated using pillows if needed. This reduces the workload and strain on your heart while making breathing easier. Focus on slow, calm, deep breaths to help ease the adrenaline surge. Think of it as gently calming your engine while the fuel line is still partly blocked. Avoid any extra movement or stress that would increase the strain. Stay in one comfortable position and try to relax your shoulders and jaw. Finally, track and prepare ahead. Make sure your key medical information is visible and easy for responders to find. A clear list of your medications, allergies, and major medical history. If it's safe, unlock your front door so help can enter quickly. This kind of preparation isn't about living in fear, it's about having clarity, staying in control, and gaining valuable time if a real emergency ever occurs. Every small step you take now buys you precious time later. You can keep a brightly colored folder on the kitchen table labeled for emergency responders with copies of your prescriptions, doctor contacts, and any recent test results. To sum it up, the three most essential actions are: recognize the signs, call emergency services immediately, and take aspirin if it's appropriate for you. These 3 steps alone can greatly improve survival chances and limit damage. The other 2, rest and proper positioning plus advanced preparation, provide strong additional support for safety and smoother recovery once help arrives. Let's talk realistically about what happens when you start adopting the HEART protocol step by step in your daily life. In the first week, your awareness sharpens noticeably. You begin to notice subtle signs much faster than before. Small protective habits start forming naturally with very little effort. You might catch yourself thinking twice when you feel any unusual pressure after a meal. In the second week, your preparedness grows. You automatically keep phones charged and nearby, check that aspirin is accessible, and perhaps write down or post important emergency contacts. From weeks 3 to 4, your response time improves significantly. Even brief or mild symptoms now trigger quick, confident action without second-guessing. After the 4th week, cardiac readiness becomes almost instinctive, like brushing your teeth or locking the doors at night. This isn't something that happens by accident. It's deliberate, purposeful, life-saving preparation that builds steadily over a short period of time. The more you practice these steps in your mind, the calmer you will feel if the real moment ever comes. To be clear and responsible, the HEART protocol is not a treatment for ongoing heart conditions, nor is it a substitute for regular medical care. It is strictly guidance for those sudden emergency moments when symptoms appear. Continue taking all your prescribed medications unless your doctor tells you otherwise. If you have bleeding disorders, an aspirin allergy, active ulcers, or certain heart conditions, please speak with your physician first about the aspirin step. Heart attacks often begin quietly, especially in older adults. They whisper rather than shout. The sensation is typically pressure rather than sharp, crushing pain. Profound fatigue frequently shows up instead of a dramatic collapse. And that brief moment of hesitation, the pause before deciding to act, is often where the greatest danger really starts. Imagine the most important decision of your life occurring when you're completely alone at home. No one nearby to help, no one to reassure you, no extra time to deliberate. For millions of people every year, that is precisely what a heart attack becomes. I'm Dr. Name, and for more than 25 years I've focused my research on cardiovascular health with particular attention to older adults. Again and again, I've seen how just a few minutes of delay can change everything in an instant. The plain truth is that most people's understanding of heart attacks is incomplete. Movies and TV almost always show them as sudden, dramatic events, intense chest pain, clutching the chest, collapsing to the floor. But for many people, especially seniors, the reality is far subtler and more deceptive. Over the next roughly 20 minutes, I'll walk you through exactly what to do if a heart attack strikes while you're alone, how to recognize those easily overlooked early signs, and a clear, step-by-step plan that gives your heart the best possible chance of surviving safely. Everything I share is based on solid evidence from the American Heart Association and leading cardiology centers worldwide. Before we go further, please take a quick moment and type your age in the comments below. I'd like to better understand our community. Heart attacks can happen at any age, but they become significantly more common as we get older, and knowing your ages allows me to tailor future guidance more precisely for everyone here. Now let's look closely at what actually happens inside your body during a heart attack, information too many people only learn after it's too late. As we enter our 60s, 70s, and beyond, our arteries naturally lose elasticity and plaque gradually accumulates inside them. Picture a garden hose that has slowly narrowed over time, water no longer flows as freely. Then, suddenly, a blockage occurs, usually when a piece of plaque ruptures and a blood clot forms, cutting off oxygen-rich blood to part of the heart muscle. This is myocardial ischemia, the core problem in a heart attack. To picture it more clearly, arteries that were once flexible and open gradually stiffen with age. Fatty deposits collect on the inner walls over decades, much like sediment slowly constricting a pipe. When a section of plaque cracks or ruptures, the body responds by forming a clot to repair the damage. But that clot can completely occlude the artery. Almost immediately, the downstream heart muscle is deprived of oxygen. Large-scale studies following thousands of older adults, many conducted at the Cleveland Clinic, have consistently shown that recognizing ischemia symptoms early can reduce permanent heart muscle damage by as much as 38%. That is a very significant number. It means rapid action can literally save heart tissue from dying. The sooner blood flow is restored, the smaller the area of permanent injury. Every minute saved preserves more healthy muscle, which directly improves long-term pumping ability, reduces future complications, and supports better recovery. One of the most surprising facts for many people is that the discomfort is often pressure, fullness, squeezing, or mild tightness in the chest, not the dramatic, movie-style crushing pain. You may have felt similar sensations before, after a heavy meal, during stress, or from anxiety, and dismissed them as minor. But this time, your body might be sending a serious warning. Don't ignore it. These subtle feelings can be the very first indication that something dangerous is underway. Older adults frequently describe it as a heavy weight resting on the chest, a band tightening around the chest, or even a mild burning sensation that mimics heartburn. The discomfort can also radiate to one or both arms, the neck, jaw, shoulders, or back. The critical point is this: it does not need to be excruciating to be life-threatening. Almost immediately, the body's stress response kicks in. The sympathetic nervous system floods the system with adrenaline, making the heart beat faster and harder. It's like flooring the accelerator while the fuel line is partly blocked. It only worsens the damage. Studies from Johns Hopkins and other leading centers have demonstrated that anxiety plus any delay in seeking help, especially when alone, sharply increases the risk of serious complications. The racing heart demands more oxygen at the precise moment supply is already restricted, creating a dangerous, vicious cycle that can rapidly enlarge the area of injury. This is what makes these events so treacherous. Your body is signaling real trouble, yet it's very easy to attribute the feelings to ordinary stress, worry, indigestion, or simply being tired after a long day. That inner conversation, "Is this serious, or am I overreacting?" can consume precious minutes the heart cannot spare. Alone at home, the mind naturally looks for a benign explanation. "It's probably just gas," or "I must be exhausted." But those few minutes of hesitation accumulate quickly when every second counts. Most heart attacks involve a clot forming directly on a ruptured plaque. Think of a sudden dam completely blocking a river. Irreversible damage to heart muscle can begin within as little as 20 minutes without intervention. The American Heart Association repeatedly emphasizes that acting within the first hour of symptom onset dramatically reduces muscle loss and improves survival rates. Many people are unaware that symptoms can be short-lived or come and go, like pressure that eases temporarily or discomfort that waxes and wanes. This pattern often means the clot is still forming or expanding. Waiting to see if it passes is dangerous. It can allow the blockage to progress. Intermittent symptoms frequently signal an unstable plaque situation that can suddenly deteriorate. As oxygen deprivation continues, electrical instability can develop, leading to arrhythmias, irregular heart rhythms, that can become fatal without prompt treatment. Imagine your heart's rhythm as the steady beat of your favorite song. When it becomes erratic and chaotic, the whole system begins to fail. Data from the Mayo Clinic and similar institutions show that older adults who call emergency services immediately have a substantially lower risk of life-threatening arrhythmias compared with those who wait even a short time. This is where so many critical mistakes occur. People delay, hoping the symptoms will resolve, thinking a brief wait won't hurt. But in cardiac emergencies, every minute matters because injury accumulates rapidly and dangerous rhythms can appear with little notice. If you've ever experienced unusual chest tightness, sudden profound fatigue, or unexplained shortness of breath, even if it went away quickly, please type "alert" in the comments right now. It tells me you're tuning in to the important signals your body might send one day. Let me share 2 real examples that bring this home. First, Robert, 68, a generally healthy retired man who lived alone much of the time. One ordinary morning, he felt mild chest tightness and an abrupt wave of exhaustion. He sat down with his coffee, telling himself, "It's probably just indigestion from dinner." After hesitating for some time, he finally dialed 911. Later, he told me, "I was convinced I was overreacting. I didn't want to make a scene or bother anyone." Fortunately, he acted. We followed what I call the HEART protocol: immediate recognition, emergency call, chewing aspirin if appropriate, and proper rest positioning. Paramedics arrived in about 20 minutes, stabilized his rhythm on scene, and he reached the cath lab within the hour. The blockage was opened successfully. He went home after 3 days. His blood pressure improved dramatically from 150/94 to 122/78. He felt lighter, calmer, and profoundly grateful. That single decision to stop hesitating saved his life. Today, Robert walks every day, spends time with his grandchildren, and religiously checks that his phone is charged each evening. Then there's Linda, 74. One quiet afternoon, while reading in her living room, she was suddenly hit with severe shortness of breath and crushing fatigue. No obvious chest pain, just overwhelming tiredness. She nearly chalked it up to normal aging or a bad night's sleep. But she remembered a conversation with her cardiologist about being prepared. She called 911 immediately, placed aspirin within reach, and unlocked her front door. Paramedics recognized an active heart attack, transported her quickly, and she received timely treatment. Her energy returned, and her ejection fraction, a key measure of heart-pumping strength, improved from 45% to 55% within weeks. Linda now keeps a small notebook by her chair, listing her medications, and urges her friends to do the same. She has become a quiet advocate in her community, encouraging everyone to keep emergency numbers visible and phones charged. Robert and Linda together illustrate a powerful reality: early recognition of subtle symptoms and decisive action, without hesitation, can truly determine whether someone lives or dies. The method that has helped hundreds of my patients protect their hearts during that critical first hour is something I call the Heart Protocol, a simple, memorable acronym you can recall even under stress. Recognize the warning signs. Look for chest pressure, tightness, unexpected fatigue, shortness of breath, or discomfort in the arms, neck, jaw, or back, even if mild or brief. Your only job in that moment is to notice and act immediately. You don't need to diagnose yourself. Research shows early recognition alone can reduce permanent damage by about 38%. If possible, note your symptoms right away on paper or your phone, including when they started and how they changed. A quick entry like chest pressure began 10:15, now also short of breath, gives paramedics and doctors vital timing information that can accelerate treatment. Emergency call immediately. Dial 911 or your local emergency number without delay. Never try to drive yourself to the hospital. Paramedics can start life-saving interventions in the ambulance, something you cannot do alone. American Heart Association data consistently show far better survival when people call promptly. Keep fully charged phones in key areas of your home, living room, bedroom, and turn the volume up so you can hear even if you feel weak. This single habit can save crucial minutes, aspirin if appropriate. If you are not allergic, do not have active bleeding issues, and your doctor has not instructed you otherwise, chew one standard 325 mg aspirin tablet while waiting for help. Chewing speeds absorption. Evidence shows early aspirin can help limit clot growth and provide added protection in those first minutes. Keep aspirin in easy-to-reach places: nightstand, kitchen counter, even a pocket if you're frequently alone. The quicker it enters your system, the more effectively it can slow the clot. Rest and position properly. Sit or lie down immediately with your upper body slightly elevated using pillows if needed. This position reduces heart workload and eases breathing. Take slow, calm, deep breaths to counteract the adrenaline surge. Avoid any unnecessary movement or exertion. Think of it as gently idling your engine while the fuel supply is restricted. Relax your shoulders and jaw as much as possible. Track and prepare in advance. Have your key medical information easily visible for responders. A clear list of medications, allergies, and major medical history. If safe, unlock your front door so help can enter quickly. Preparation is not about fear, it's about control and buying time. Many people keep a brightly colored folder labeled for emergency responders on the kitchen table containing prescriptions, doctor contacts, and recent test results. In summary, the 3 non-negotiable actions are: recognize the signs, call emergency services immediately, and take aspirin if it's safe for you. These 3 steps alone dramatically improve survival odds and limit damage. Rest and positioning plus advanced preparation provide powerful additional protection and smoother care once help arrives. Let's be realistic about what happens when you gradually adopt the heart protocol into daily life. In the first week, awareness sharpens. You notice subtle signs faster. Small protective habits form with almost no effort. You might pause and pay closer attention the next time you feel unusual pressure after eating. In the second week, preparedness improves. Phones stay charged and nearby, aspirin is accessible, emergency contacts are posted or saved. From weeks 3 to 4, response time quickens. Mild or brief symptoms now prompt confident action instead of second-guessing. After about a month, cardiac readiness becomes almost automatic, like brushing your teeth or locking the door at night. This isn't accidental, it's deliberate, purposeful preparation that builds quickly. The more you mentally rehearse these steps, the calmer and clearer you'll be if the real moment ever arrives. Important disclaimer: the heart protocol is emergency guidance only, not a treatment for chronic heart conditions or a replacement for regular medical care. Continue all prescribed medications unless your doctor advises otherwise. If you have bleeding disorders, aspirin allergy, active ulcers, or certain heart conditions, consult your physician about the aspirin step before relying on this advice. Start with the safest preparations. Organize your medical information, keep phones accessible and charged, ensure your home allows quick entry for responders. Build these habits gradually to avoid unnecessary worry. My challenge to you today is straightforward. Choose just one piece of the heart protocol, perhaps always keeping a charged phone nearby or gathering your medical details in one obvious place, and commit to it for the next 30 days. Then return to the comments and share how it affected your peace of mind, daily habits, or sense of control. Your heart has carried you through countless joys and difficulties over the years. It deserves your respect, your attention, and your prompt action, never hesitation or dismissal. If this felt valuable and potentially life-saving, please consider subscribing for more practical, evidence-based guidance. Next week, I'll cover the subtle heart attack warning signs that are especially common in women over 60. At least one of them will likely surprise you and could make a real difference for you or someone you love. If you've stayed with me to the end, please type "My heart, my choice" in the comments. Let's build a community here that chooses decisive action when it matters most. I'm Doctor, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Please take good care of your heart. It's the only one you have.